not the typical real estate investment club. We don't sell you guys anything. So the entire point of For Investors by Investors is that there's no sales pitch allowed.
FIBI is 15 chapters around the country. 13 of them are located here in Southern California. I think there's over 2,500 people now?
Yeah, we have actually, I haven't counted, but we're probably up to close to 4,000.
4,000, wow. So the power of networking, right? And the reason why this brand has grown so quickly is because there's so much useful information. Every FIBI group is different. The concept is the same. It's no selling. It's strictly educational purposes, but some focus on broader investing as a whole. Some focus on, like ours, like real estate. So, you know, you have a list in front of you, so take a look. If there's a topic that one of these other groups covers and you're interested, you know, we encourage you to continue to network and find out more information.
Find those deals, you have to network, whether it's here, on the phone, making connections, asking people for connections.
When a bank needs to unload a loan because they don't have a certainty of what's going to happen, how many buyers understand what that value is? I'd have to say that in this room, and we're in a very bright room, there's probably a large amount of you that could understand a wholesale deal, that understand certain things. But if I said, okay, here's a second trust deed with a first trust deed and a tax lien, and you got to figure out what's the value.
One thing I want to make clear, no matter what any guru tells you, if you are a passive cash flow investor, you are investing short-term, medium-term, and long-term. Even some of the long-term stuff eventually sells. So you're not, I get a ton of checks in the mail, but I do not spend my days at the beach. That is not the way it works. If you want to be successful and you want to continue your cash flow stream for many years, you have to keep putting it back to work every month.
When you're comping and you are in a shady area, but you get a handful of comp, will you ever do a price per square foot comp on a property that you know will perform?
I hardly ever price it like that. If I'm not sure, what I'll do, I'll call an agent in the area and I say, look, this is what, but not just one agent, I'll call like 5 of them and try to get like everybody's opinion on it. Yeah, that's what I'll do. But then ultimately, your buyers will also do their comps, and usually their buyers are specialized in one area. So I always follow up with them and say, what do you think the comp was? You know, did I get my numbers right? And they'll tell you, yeah, you did, or no, you didn't. And never ever inflate your comps, because your reputation as a wholesaler is all based on how good you do your work. And if you just inflate it to sell it, they'll never come back.
Like that kind of answered it was that it can only go one way. The only reason they're there to protect themselves, right? The PPM and the accredited investor is only there to protect the syndicator.
Yes, I mean, it depends which way you look at it. So some syndicators like accepting accredited investors only because it actually reduces the liability for the reason that Matt stated. Most of the syndicators I work with now actually accept accredited and non-accredited. So in that case, you can argue they're not really necessarily just trying to maximize their own protection. But then when they're taking non-accredited investors, they actually have the right to ask people on a case-by-case basis their level of experience. You know, and I don't know if they get to the point of asking your investable assets or whatnot, but some of them will want to make sure that they're not taking, you know, your only $20,000. They're concerned about that.
If I screw up and I can't get this person to recast the loan or to work out the loan, and I foreclose on them and it costs me X amount of dollars, then I got to turn it into a rental. How much at the end of the day am I into this property, and what's my yield if I turn it into a rental?
Yeah, what's your downside risk?
Right.
If you don't have a plan, go to plan.
And if I can't turn it into a rental, there's not, you know, a whole lot of exits left. So, you know, I'm usually not buying where I can at least turn it into a rental. Yeah.
So I'm assuming some of these non-performing notes have got to be in like really decimated real estate areas.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
We bought one in Garden Grove, not a ghost town.
Okay, so like some markets are you staying away from some markets because of vacancies?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's a saying in the note business that there's no bad notes, only bad pricing.
Yeah.
But there's a certain amount of work that's involved with tougher neighborhoods, tougher property, just like with rentals. And you know, you have to say, okay, do I really want to buy this $8,000 note in Flint, Michigan, right? When I have to put all this work in, then what am I going to get out of it? You know, a whopping few $1,000 profit with all this headache. I'd rather go buy something that's, you know, more worth my time. It's not as what we call doesn't have as much hair on it.
You call on different people for different things. If you're
to
looking
do
at a
your homework.
residential deal, yeah, there's various sources you can go to, and the people that are right there. I hate using this phrase, but I will anyway. The whole boots on the ground thing. People that are in the area are very, very important. And one thing you said, Ginger, really caught my ear is, It's so true in LA, probably in most cities, is that, you know, you can't look at a map and say, well, there's a house that costs this much, and this one's, you know, 3 blocks. I mean, I live in North Redondo. Okay, my house 4 blocks away in Manhattan Beach is not worth the same amount. Not even close. I mean, it's like hand as much, and so you have to, if you're out looking at the property you're going to buy, you have to go look at the neighborhood.
And get those team members in place that know that neighborhood and get the knowledge base that you don't have. Continuing your education is huge. It's really, I mean, you wouldn't think of it if you got a good system going, you're making money and things like that. I mean, it's great, but at the same time, if you don't continue your education, that income source could slowly go away as markets change and by you not being on top of things. So staying on top of that education is huge.